I want to thank everyone. I want to welcome everyone to the We Care Candidates Forum. We Care would like to thank everyone in attendance this evening. We are pleased at the number of attendees tonight and are thankful that so many of you are here to hear directly from the candidates. This is the only candidates debate where the candidates will engage in a healthy, moderated debate rather than delivering prepared speeches. Audience members will have the opportunity to submit questions, giving voters a greater voice in the discussion. Compare the candidates' positions side by side. Local elections have a direct impact on our daily lives. The decisions made by the next county commission will influence growth, infrastructure, traffic, taxes, public safety, and the quality of life in Martin County and the city of Stuart for years to come. Whether you've already decided who you'll support or are still weighing your options, this forum offers a unique opportunity to see the candidates interact, defend their positions, and respond to questions from both the moderator and the public. Following the debate, candidates will remain to meet attendees, answer additional questions, and speak one-on-one with community members. Grab some popcorn. We're going to be ready to start shortly. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce our moderator. We are honored to have Casey Ingram serving as our moderator today. Casey is a respected community leader, known for her professionalism, fairness, and commitment to keeping residents informed about the issues that matter most in Martin County. Many of you know Casey as the host of her weekly podcast, available on YouTube, where she focuses on current issues facing Martin County residents and provides a valuable forum for our community engagement and civic awareness. Her dedication to informing the public and encouraging thoughtful conversation makes her exceptionally well suited to moderate today's event. Please join me in welcoming Casey Ingram, and thank you, Casey, for serving as our moderator today. And now, here's Casey.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you. So I know we want to start our forum out with the Pledge of Allegiance.
And the invocation, did they put it up on the screen?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I missed it.
So that's okay, but we'll go ahead and start with the pledge if we could all stand. I pledge the allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And our invocation this evening is by Tom Lloyd.
Tom Lloyd is doing our invocation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think I'll try this without the mic. Please pray with me. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity to come together in fellowship, Lord. We worship you. You have blessed us so much, more than we deserve. You've given us the opportunity to live in a country where our pledge was just that we're thankful for being that nation under you. Lord, we pray that this day will show servitude. We thank you for your love, your unconditional love, and the way you served us at the cross. You paid a price we could never pay. Lord, and I thank you that there are those here that are serving, like-minded, trying to make their community better, living up to the precepts that we've learned from your example. We just thank you for your unconditional love. We thank you for those that are stepping up to serve, and we pray that there will be wisdom given to them and to us for discernment. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Fantastic crowd here this evening, folks. Appreciate you all coming out. It's so important. So good evening and welcome. Tonight is about one thing and only one thing, the voters. Campaigns have fundraisers. Campaigns have endorsements. Campaigns have political events. But this is different. Tonight is about earning your vote by answering your questions. I want to extend my sincere thanks to We Care Martin for organizing this forum and for putting the residents of Stuart first. This is the first candidate forum to allow residents watching the live stream to submit questions in real time, giving a voice to those who could not be here tonight. Our recent We Care Martin County Commission Forum reached more than 30,000 viewers, and it's still growing, proving that residents are paying attention and want to hear directly from the candidates, not through campaign ads or mailers, but through open public discussion. Let's see if the City of Stuart can break that record tonight. Not every candidate chose to participate this evening. That is, of course, their decision. But opportunities like this allow candidates to speak directly to the people they hope to represent. And ultimately, it's the voters who decide how much that matters. In 2024, every Stuart candidate who chose not to participate in the We Care Martin Forum was defeated at the ballot box. Whether that history repeats itself is entirely up to you, the voters. One final note, we welcome respectful questions from residents. To keep this forum transparent and accountable, we will not accept questions submitted from fake or anonymous social media profiles. Thank you to everyone joining us here tonight and to everyone that's watching online. Share that live stream with your friends and neighbors, submit your questions, and let's make this the most watched City of Stuart forum yet. So let's get started. Audience, there's some cards over here. Gail's holding them up. If you want to come up and read your question to the candidates, just write your name on that card. If you want me to read them, leave your name off the card and I'll be happy to do so. And now to our candidates, the stars of the show. Welcome this evening. We appreciate you folks coming out and sharing your time with us, your views and your ideas and why you want to represent the people tonight. The format for tonight's forum is as follows. Each candidate will begin with a 3-minute opening statement. We're going to start with Dane on the far end and work our way down. We have one mic that the four of you will have to share. Candidates will also have 1 minute to answer each question. Following each response, candidates may choose to use an optional 30-second rebuttal. At the conclusion of the forum, each candidate will have 2 minutes as a closing statement. So let's go ahead. We'll begin with those opening statements, and let's start with Dane Oldenburg.
How's it going, guys? Thank you all for coming. Does the overdevelopment concern you guys as voters? Does the transparency being provided concern you guys as voters? My name is Dane Oldenburg. I'm a Stuart native. I was born at the Martin Memorial Hospital. And I'm not your normal politician, I get that, but me and you guys share the same core values. We go to the same stores, we go on the same roads, and at the end of the day, we want the best quality of life. And when I drive past the overdevelopment, it just makes me sick to my stomach. And we have the power to choose the people that are in these seats. They don't have any type of power. You can see who's here today and who's not. And that should say a lot about this event tonight. If you choose me, I will give the power back to the people, and that's something that we haven't seen in a very long time. One thing I hate about election season is these people go business to business. They go door to door, and they talk about transparency. And what happens is when you get them that vote, when you get them in that seat, they close the blinds on us. We're on the outside looking in. And until we put the right people in these seats, our town will forever be run on special interest. My name is Dane Oldenburg, and thank you very much for coming.
Kylie Mikeshay.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank you all for being here. My name is Kylie Mitchike. Of course, I'm running for Stuart City Commissioner. My biggest concern here in the city, of course, is the development, our water quality, as well as our traffic issues. We have a lot of traffic issues and we have a lot of issues with our water. So those are the things that I would like to tackle. My Biggest thing that I would say is that our water is our environment and it's in our economy. People come here for our water. They come here to go fishing, they come here to go to the beach, they come to enjoy our actual environments. So if we're not protecting our environment, we do not have a good economy. People are not going to want to come here, and the tourism, as well as everything that involves the Martin County, is going to stop. So I've been working with a lot of nonprofits as well as our state legislators to try and get the home rule control back to us. That is the major issue that we have, as the state has taken all of the control from local municipalities. We do not have the ability to just deny development like we used to. We do have the ability to deny rezoning, but we don't have the ability to just deny the development like we used to, especially with the Live Local Act. It is terrorizing Martin County, and it will continue to. These are the issues that I would like to handle, and that is my biggest thing for us, is continuing to fight and advocate for the overdevelopment that's being done at a state level. And I think that's what people really, really need to understand, is these decisions are not being made by just your county commissioners or your city commissioners. The state is taking away all of our home rule, and that's the biggest issue now. We need to be collaborating with our local and our state legislators to get this back to us.
Thank you. So we're skipping Eula Clark and going on to Derek Ogden.
Good evening, everybody. My name's Derek Ogden. I'm a single dad. I've been running 3 businesses in Martin County for a long time. I've lived in Martin County for a little over 20 years. I've been criticized for not being born here, but I chose this place. I didn't get born into a system and get plugged into a network. I am raising a little 7-year-old girl who is 4th generation Martin County from her mother's side. And it's important to me that we keep the character of our city and our green spaces and all the good parts of Stuart, the reason that we're all here, the things that we all care about. In my first 100 days, I've released my plan for what I want to do for this city as a commissioner. And I call it the PLOT, P-L-O-T, Protection, Leadership, Ownership, and Transparency. Protecting the character of our city and our waterways, leadership that actually shows up and does what a leader should do, working for the residents. Ownership, who owns this government? You do. That means we need to be accountable. That means that you have the authority. And as far as the transparency goes, what are we actually putting behind that? We need to open our government up and make sure that people can see our emails. Our mayor's been trying to get our emails up on the website from the city commission for a long time now. That needs to get done, and we're going to have a majority on the commission to do that. As well as encouraging participation from outside of the meetings, bringing that into our Zoom meetings and allowing public comment on our chats. This is something that this meeting is actually doing. And if we can do it here, I'm sure the city staff can pull that off. I have a background in IT and cybersecurity, and I'd be happy to help them set all that stuff up and work with the staff to bring these things out into the open. So I look forward to serving you as the Group 3 City of Stuart Commissioner, and this will be my first government seat I hold if you so choose. Thank you.
So as many of you know, Derek's opponent would be Merritt Matheson, who is unable to attend this evening, as well as Campbell Rich's Will Laughlin, who's next. Your opponent did not attend as well this evening.
Hello, and again, thank you for all for coming. Again, my name is Will Laughlin, and I came to Stuart 33 years ago. I grew up in the middle of a cornfield. I came down here from Illinois. I saw how the rot of certain policies can destroy a great state. And I love the small town, and I don't like people that don't fight back against tyranny. And I see that happening here. I see my opponent, Campbell Rich, doesn't seem to want to fight. He chose not. He voted to not support the Senate Bill 180 lawsuit that the city of Stuart joined in on. And I thought that was a great move by our commissioners and our past mayor to get involved with that. teacher, middle school teacher primarily, also some high school. And I watched those little kids become self-aware, and it was always a lot of fun. And I could say you could do whatever you wanted to do, pretty much. And I gave them a lot of free rein. Some teachers thought I gave them too much free rein, but man, some of these kids went on to do great things. Become movie producers. I just saw one was in Hollywood again recently, became artist at the Ohio State University, became the lead counsel for the GOP in Washington, D.C. And these were intelligent individuals, and there's so many intelligent individuals in this room and in this city. But the one thing I told those students is you can do pretty much anything, just don't lie. Because then once you do that, I'm on you. And that's one of my concerns, is my opponent seems to be very deceptive. He's not prepared to fight against tyranny. And isn't that what this country was founded on? Progressivism is the exact opposite, where your government dictates your rights. That's the exact opposite of what this country is founded on. And I would like to see, that's a bigger picture, I get that. But here on the local level, this is where the front line's at. I'm going to take a stand. I hope you will be supporting me and be behind me as I try to make a stand against what's coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. So we'll start with the questions. We have one mic, so you're going to get the first question, Will. And Rick Warren, I'd like you to come up. You'll be question number 2. Leave your cards up here when you guys, after you read them, because sometimes the candidates need them repeated, and I don't remember what they are. So you're going to be question number 2. I'm going to read the first one, and then we'll get to you. All right, so Will, and this is for all candidates. How do you feel about blocking people on social media as a candidate and or elected official?
Well, if it's your own particular website or social media page, that's your prerogative. And if you want to take the heat for that, that's on you. I always encourage free speech. I know there's some people that are opposed to me, and they've made some comments, and I welcome to hear what they say. But if the individual wants to block them, that's on them, okay? But I don't really have any intentions to block anybody. I don't care how nasty and ugly they want to be. It just exposes their own character. So that's my opinion.
Thank you. Derek?
I've never blocked anyone even on my personal page, especially not on a campaign page or as an elected official. Should anybody be shut out of a conversation other than the obvious things, racial slurs or vulgarity or whatever. If anybody's interested in my position on how people should be able to exercise their free speech, just watch the recording of last night's city commission meeting. We're not even allowed to refer to commissioners by name, according to Campbell Rich and Eula Clark. They want to make it more difficult for us to hold them accountable when we're in city meetings. I took issue with them and their position on the sailfish ballparks, not protecting them by referendum. And I named them and what they did, and I just kept getting shut down in the middle of the meeting. So we need to have open discourse, respectful discourse, and this whole talk of civility and being polite. When somebody gets caught with their hand in the cookie jar, the first thing out of their mouth is, whoa, 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 let's be civil.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. Kylie McShay.
Well, for social media, I think it's very important for people to understand that there's personal pages and there are, of course, your campaign pages. I never block people from my campaign page, but for my personal page, I will remove people that are disgusting or nasty. I have had people go attack random people that have my same last name. I've had people go attack my family. I don't need those kind of issues, and I don't want my family dealing with any of those issues because I decided to put my face out here. They did not decide to put their face and name up here. They don't deserve to be in the argument or any kind of discourse like that. So I will remove people and I will block people off of my personal page to keep my family and my friends protected.
Okay. Dane Oldenborg.
I believe in freedom of speech completely. I think there's a problem with the internet in regards to the pages that are made. There's quite a few pages that they have 5 followers, we don't know who they are, and they just spread propaganda and they spread lies. So if I block somebody, you're probably a con artist. You're trying to probably spread, your prerogative. So, like I said, free speech all the way, but when it comes to these people hiding behind these accounts, I like to block them. They're spreading truth, and a lot of people take what people say off of face value, and that could really affect you.
Thank you. All right, Rick Warren.
First of all, thank you guys for throwing your name in the hat. I know it takes a lot of guts to do that, especially in today's political environment. My question is around kind of the big buzz around the state, right? And that's the Homestead Amendment. When you look at the budget, if you've looked at the budget now, if that is approved, what areas are you going to look at first in order to make cuts in order for us to continue moving forward?
We're going to start with Kylie McAshea on this one.
Personally, I will be voting for this. So I think, first of all, we need to be focusing on zero-based budgets. This is something I've always been for. We start at the bottom line. Everything that supposedly needs to be on the budget, prove that we actually need it. If we can't prove that we actually need it, if we don't need it. The first thing that I would like to go through are actually our contracts and services with companies and such. I think for a lot of things, one, we pay for things that we don't actually need, as well as we overpay for a lot of services. So that's the issue. I think, of course, preserving our fire and our police is the first thing that we need to do. But going through all of those contracts that we have with companies, we don't own any of our police vehicles or anything like that. Those are contracts that we have where we're overpaying on a lot of them, and we could find ways to save money on those. That would be where I would start. Where do I go to?
Mr. Ogden. Ogden.
People are getting Dane and I confused because our initials are DO. I think it's important to look at the big picture when you're looking at anything with a budget, from the bottom line all the way up to the top. And there are a lot of places where money is getting directed in the city of Stuart. We have a pretty sizable surplus in the CRA that would, from my understanding, take care of any shortfalls that we have at least this year and next year if the tax bill goes through. So there's a lot to look at, and there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of things that we could do, from restructuring the CRA to going through those line items, line by line through that budget and figuring out what we can do. What I can tell you is that I think most of you already know this about me. I am about protecting our parks, keeping our parks in place. The developers have their crosshairs on those, and they want Sailfish Park so bad you can just feel it in the room when you're with them. So it's something we need to keep a sharp eye on and make sure that we're not cutting anything that we can't undo.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. Mr. Laughlin.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I think that if that bill passes, the way it's currently structured, it does a great disservice to those who are on the edge as far as looking for affordable housing. It does help those with assets protect that. Now, that said, going back to the budget items, currently the way we're structured, the fire and police take up a little over half the budget. Okay, I don't think anybody, and they were underfunded in my opinion to a certain extent for years. They finally getting up to speed. You can even make an argument that they might even need a couple more firefighters to ride. So I don't see any cuts coming from that particular area. But to go to Mr. Ogden's point, the CRA is a possible area. The way that is currently structured, currently this year the CRA had $10 million plus another $10 million in grants. They have $20 million that goes to different projects. And the CRA funds cannot be used for any like service that goes outside of the CRA, like police or fire.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin.
CRA.
I've got a part two
Well,
to that.
we got Mr. Oldenburg yet,
Oh,
down
I'm
on the
sorry.
other end.
Hey, sorry
You
about
just
that.
got this one mic.
In regards to the budget, we got to look at the last 10, 15 years. We had such a weak special interest council, and they put a lot of bad people in position. They gave them a lot of money. For instance, Eula Clark tried to motion to sell 55 of our acres for $1 million. The Treasure Coast Regional Planning Council had a hand in that. I don't know why we're giving 6 figures to somebody to assess land for one of Eula's donors. So if I were to look at the budget, I would see everybody that's been involved. I'm really into diving into corruption, so I would start with all the people that have been taking large sums of our tax dollars and using it for special interest.
Thank you. All right, so Rick, I'm going to hand Derek the microphone, and we'll just try. I'll speak really loud myself. I know you can speak loud. When you come up here, if the speaker can speak as loud as possible. If not, I'll re-shout it because I can yell. So you can go ahead and ask him.
So part two of the question is, what are your efforts if the amendment does not pass? So you've looked at it, right? You say, here's areas that I'm thinking maybe that we can cut. Does that just go away if the amendment doesn't pass? Or do you continue to look at areas to make us more efficient?
So I'll say that our past commission since 2022 has done a really good job of making a lot of cuts. We lowered the millage rate, and things are running much more slim now than they were before. So a lot of cuts have already been made. So to the point where, you know, some adjustments might need to be made, but without the homestead change coming, there's not obviously going to be as big of an impact. But honestly, I really want a third party to come in and look at all the finances for the city. I'd like a third party to just review everything line by line. There's been some turnover. There's been a lot of people who have, you know, been there for a long time that maybe fell into some habits that, you know, numbers just keep carrying over from year to year. I'd like fresh eyes on it from a professional third party.
Yeah. Mr. Laughlin?
Okay, we just had at the meeting just last night, we had that discussion with the budget, and I've talked to a couple of the finance people there. They're kind of swimming, getting their heads above, trying to keep their heads above water, but they're getting things put together. And it looks like there's a potential. After the meeting, a commissioner, my opponent, spoke with me. He's like, well, what do you think about that $3.5 million budget deficit that we're looking at next year? And I know he wants to raise the millage rate back to 5%. And I'm wondering, I still got to find out, okay, well, wait a minute, about 10 years ago, we were at $9 million. Ad valorem, now we're at 18, so, and the budget overall has doubled. Okay, so where's the money going? All right, and that's why I want to talk to the finance people. But to go to your question, I think we're going to be in great shape, even if that doesn't pass. Even if it did pass, there's mechanisms in place that we don't need to cut drastically. So I'm looking to dig out more details, kind of what Mr. Ogden was saying. Let's get a third party to take a look at this. Thanks.
Mr. Oldenburg?
Like I said, if the budget or the bill doesn't get passed, we still need to do a strong audit on what's happening in our community. I talked to a lot of people. A lot of people don't understand that we are in a deficit. A lot of people don't understand that at all. They're like, what do you mean we're in a deficit? We don't have enough money. And like I said, with what's been done in the past, I think we need a forensic, I don't know what the term is, but somebody to really take a deep dive in these finances and the people that have been put in power since corrupt type officials have been in power.
Ms. McAshay?
I absolutely think that we still need to go through our budget. When I say I believe in a zero-based budget, I believe in a zero-based budget. Everything on that budget needs to be gone through, and we need to prove that we actually need it. And again, if we can't prove that we don't need it or that we do need it, it's gone. There's no discussion. There's no argument. If there's not a way to prove that we need it, it's simple. You don't need it then.
Thank you. Tommy Lloyd, you'll be next. I'll ask a question while you're coming up. Oh, I don't know. There you are. All right. Next question is going to start with Mr. Laughlin. Will all of you commit to not taking donations from developers?
Well, I know some good developers here, and they're actually been in Stuart for a long time. And I haven't had any campaign contributions from any particular developers yet. But to ball all developers into an evil group, I think that's not fair. There's guys here that are very good. They love Stuart. I've gone fishing with them way back in the last century. These are good people. So I wouldn't take developers from any Wall Street money, that's for sure, or anybody that has a lobbyist in Tallahassee. But if it's a local developer and they want to help me maybe clear up zoning permits, or if they want to get behind me because they know I'm trying to figure out what's going on with all these permits and all those issues, and how come it takes forever for some of these projects to get going. There's some efficiencies that can be made there. I'm not against a local developer.
Mr. Oldenburg?
I personally, I don't know any developers, so from what I really stand for, I feel like the people that are donating to these things, they're always asking for something. They always want a favor. It's never for the better of the community. So for what I stand for, I personally, I can't take the money from a developer and have somebody in this crowd, oh, I can't believe you did that to us. It's just, it couldn't be me. So yeah, I couldn't do it.
Ms. McAshea?
I personally have had developers reach out to me and try to donate to my campaign, and I've always denied it. I always send the check back. I have no want for that, even the ones that I know and have worked for in the past.
Mr. Ogden?
So I have a close friend of mine who's in finance, and she deals with a lot of developers, and they saw that we were friends on social media, and she called me the other day, and she said, they called me and asked me if they should support you in your campaign. And she said, they kind of said, we'll give him a bunch of money, but when we call him, he's got to help us out. And she told me, she said, he's not your guy. So we take donations up to $100. I don't even want individuals coming in and throwing $1,000 at me. No developers, no PACs. There's been small businesses that are like, I'll give you $1,000 right now. I'm like, give me $100, and if we do a good job, give me another $100 later, right? Like just $100 at a time. I want to make sure that nobody feels like they can put their boots on my desk after I'm elected and say, now see here, boy? No, I don't need any of that. Developers are not evil. Developers do what developers do. They develop.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. Our minute goes quickly. All right.
Is the 1
Just to
minute
piggyback.
sign or the stop sign?
That's supposed to be a 1 minute sign, it's a 2 minute.
Oh, it's a 1 minute answer. Yes, yes. So we got a 30-second sign though for them, so they'll know? Okay. Don't worry, I think you'll be able to follow up with this, Mr. Ogden, on the next question, but we're going to start with Mr. Oldenburg. It's okay. She's a fabulous timekeeper, so I know it.
Got to keep it simple for me.
So some might think this question is similar to the other, but there is a distinction in this question. My question, first of all, and then I'll try and clarify it a little bit on the distinction. Do you commit to be transparent and not to take money from special interest groups who seek to change our comprehensive plan? I don't think any of us would think that there will be zero development. I mean, I understand a referendum for some period of time till things are put under control, but I don't think anybody in here thinks there's going to be zero development. But responsible development is another thing. And beyond that, this question goes to, if these people are coming in and wanting to change our comprehensive plan and change our zoning rules and do everything they can to totally violate our culture and our quality of life, are you going to support them?
Mr. Oldenburg.
Absolutely not. Any developer that comes and asks for a rezoning gets laughed out the building if I'm in there. We don't have time for that. That's what we've been doing before we got a stronger commission in the last couple years. So not an option for the future of the commission as long as the good guys get elected. As you can see, the people that aren't here, I don't know if you guys know this, but they're all funded by CPAC. They've raised $250,000 in funds. Everybody at this table was not invited to the forum 2 hours ago. It was a rich people type of forum for all the people that donated to their funds. So, yeah, no favors for developers.
Ms. McAshea.
I think all decisions are a community decision. I think a lot of people think that just because you're an elected official, you get to make the decision. It's up to you guys. What you guys say is what we do. So if there's a developer that does come forth and it's something that the entire community backs and wants in our community, then I think it's okay to rezone something. We're able to do things like that for our community. But if the community is sitting there telling you how much they hate it, they don't want it, our infrastructure can't take it, whatever the case may be, it's your job as an elected official to do what the community says. That is all.
Mr. Ogden.
So the donations thing, I think we already covered. We don't accept any of that. I don't accept any of that in my campaign. On the transparency side, though, the second part of that question, I would like to see, and this is on my to-do list after election, I would like to see a reporting process that's required for any commissioners. If you've been contacted by someone, or if you have lunch with somebody, and they might see this as, overbearing or nosy or whatever, I view it as transparent. If you want to go out and have dinner with a developer, I feel like it should be reported, it should be logged. The mechanics of that, how to make all that happen, I'm not exactly sure of. It'll be easy for me because it just doesn't happen for me. But that's the kind of thing that we need in this city. We need to know who's hanging out with who, and our elected officials are actually making choices and voting on our behalf and not their golf buddies or tennis friends. Make sense?
Mr. Laughlin.
Yeah, no, and I would report anything if I did have anything remotely close to that. So ultimately, I just ran into a fella that I haven't seen for a couple of years, knew him from the softball field. And when I was an umpire, I did a lot of umpiring of softball for years. And it didn't matter if they were one of my best friends or who it was. When it came game time, it was you either safe or you're out. Same thing with the students in the classroom. I don't care. And I always had students trying to be the teacher's pet or whatever. And if you've been in the classroom, you might know, or we have a school board member or two here. You've seen that kind of stuff happen. But at the end of the day, you either did the right thing or you did the wrong thing. And I'm about, what are we trying to accomplish here in Stuart? I'm about trying to protect Stuart, and that's primary job number one. I don't care about my friends. And if they're trying to encourage me to develop things, no, sorry. If it's outside the perimeter. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. Doc, if you could make your way up here, and I'll start the next question with Ms. Mikashay. The city has many leases with private business and nonprofits with extended leases. Leases for $1. Would you vote to review these leases and support changing $1 a year? I understand the time may not be able to be changed. However, would you raise the rental cost?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so I'm from Fort Pierce, so I try to stay up to date with all of the things that are going on. If you look at the leases that are going on in Fort Pierce, I mean, Krabby's, they've got thousands and thousands of dollars that are due to the city. We absolutely need to review all of our leases, make sure they're actually at market value, because especially if property taxes go away, this is a way that we can actually be getting income from these people and from these businesses. I think businesses, a lot of times, we make plenty of money to be able to pay those kind of fees and things like that. I think the only issue is, of course, burdening small businesses, but I think a lot of these companies are able to pay fees like this.
Thank you. Mr. Ogden?
I think we need to look at all of the businesses in downtown Stuart and around the city that are on any kind of lease agreement. And the questions come up a few times. Actually came up at the county forum last Tuesday. Nonprofits that are leasing from the county, and in this case the city. What are they actually giving back to the community? What is our return on investment, and what is the highest and best use of that property? What can we actually get out of that property as far as maximum revenue? So that type of revenue offsets tax dollars. So if we can make up a little bit of our deficit on rent revenue, that's money that's not coming out of the taxpayers' pockets. So I definitely like the idea of reviewing our leases and making sure that we're doing right by our community.
Mr. Laughlin?
Yeah, to follow up on that, some of these nonprofits are kind of going down the slippery slope. Some of them are, I think, looking at it to, they can make more money as a nonprofit than they could as a private business. That's just a side thought. But yes, I would review those leases and consider this. Is this operation adhering to the objective? What's the overall objective? Trying to maintain Stuart the way it is. Are we going to try to make this a nice little touristy town, if you will, the best seaside city in America? Or are we going to venture off and help developers have little functions? Well, that's not really in our objective. So what's the objective? Are they achieving their objective? If they are, I'll be happy to work with them. But if they're not, if we have no return on investment and they're not working toward that objective, we might have to review you.
Mr. Oldenburg.
Yeah, I think it depends on the circumstances of the nonprofit. Obviously, we never want to make it harder for somebody that's trying to contribute to our community and make it better. So, like I said, we have a long history of bad council members. So, like I said earlier, an audit into what's been going on in our community, I think, is a necessity at this point from what we've seen and what we've learned.
Next question is for Mr. Ogden, and Dak, you are up.
Should I just yell it?
Yes.
So, as a city resident who's no longer on the board, the city commission went through an extensive process to try to repair our land use, our codes, to restore them from, as I perceive it personally, damage that was done in 2020, when at the time, Commissioner Matheson and Commissioner Meyer helped drive the increases in density, including the use of half units. They made a lot of new changes to our comp plan and our land use that was new. We went through a process of restoring that code to what it was like before that 2020 update through our zoning in progress. As a former commissioner and as a city resident, what I would like to hear from all of you is if you are committed to upholding those slow growth code restorative updates, or like I've heard from Commissioner Matheson, or former Commissioner Matheson and current Commissioner Rich, this idea of dumping those code changes once there might be a new majority on the board. So I'd like to hear from all of you, and the context of this is it's sitting currently underneath a lawsuit. The city challenged the SB 180 policy, and as a result, our land use has not been rescinded. The zoning and progress changes were not rescinded. But would you all be looking to uphold those unless a judge forced us to rescind them, or would you be looking to scrap them if you were elected?
Thank you. Mr. Ogden.
I would certainly uphold those, and with reference to the SB 180, this was a bill that was passed because of a hurricane, and it was based on an emergency. And I don't know if anybody studied Roman history in high school, but Rome was taken over by a leader under emergency circumstances. His name was Caesar, and he never gave up power after that. So it seems like when emergencies happen, that's when power gets grabbed and it gets hung on to. And that's the case, in my view, with the SB 180. The zoning in progress is an important part of stopping development. A lot of people have called it chaos. I think it's probably chaos for the developers' pocketbooks, but I call it whiplash. I mean, we were barreling down the highway and we saw what was ahead and we had to slam on the brakes. So it may be a little chaotic, but it's better than hitting the wall. So I'm all about supporting those code changes, keeping those things in place. Thank you for that question.
Mr. Laughlin.
Well, I got politically active about 4 years ago. That's how I met Chris. And the same idea. He and I had the same idea. And I heard it from dozens of friends at the time. They're like, what's going on with all this building? So yes, to answer your question, I would most definitely support those changes that were made during Chris Collins' time as mayor and the other commissioners that voted for that as well. So short answer, yes, I would support that.
Mr. Oldenburg, should have had a bright line question going.
I would absolutely uphold those changes. I think that the fact that it was set before those changes was horrendous to our community. Anybody that thinks a developer should have the right to come in and start building without having a hearing on hearing the people say, it's just not right for our community. Anytime somebody wants to come here and develop something, we should have a say. And the other commissioners don't want that. Merritt and Campbell made their opinions very clear. They said, we're violating the law. Well, if the government tells us, hey, we allow 10 stories now, are we going to just listen to them? No, we're going to fight. And they don't like the fact that we joined this lawsuit, and that's hilarious. It was a measly $10,000 to protect our way of life. Martin County commissioners voted against it too. They said, oh, we're not spending the money. It just doesn't make any sense. If you want to protect our quality of life, then we cannot allow developers to come in here and do what they want. It doesn't make any sense for our community. Thank you.
Ms. McShay?
I absolutely would uphold those. It would break my heart if a judge granted that to be lifted and we had to go back to the, I guess, newer, technically, the rules. But yeah, I would absolutely uphold that. I would do whatever I can to fight for you all to not have all of those zoning changes and not have the SB 180 basically just allow a bunch of development. I again think people need to understand that we need to fight at the state level. We need to advocate and work with our state legislators to actually get something done.
Thank you. Robin Cartwright, you'll be next. I'm going to start with the next question, Mr. Laughlin. Have you or any members of your extended family, including in-laws, ever profited from or been involved with any developments in Martin County? And if so, which developments?
No, they have not. Simple answer.
That makes it simple. All right, Mr. Oldenburg.
Absolutely not. My whole family is firefighters, policemen, and fishermen, so we don't do any type of developing.
Ms. Micashay?
Absolutely not.
Mr. Ogden, I love this quick question.
I wish Merritt was here right now. My answer is no. Thank you.
Ms. Cartwright.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here tonight. I just want to make one correction to something you said. You know I love you dearly, but the other people who are not in attendance weren't unable to attend. That was a choice. So let's be very clear about that. So my question is for everybody, though Mr. Warren alluded to this earlier. There have been published and documented expenses that have been or are questionable. What is your commitment to reviewing past and expected projected expenses, and with what level of oversight?
All right, I think that we are down to Mr. Oldenburg, if I remember.
I think that anything that comes to the table, I think we all need to be aware of it. We all need complete transparency. A lot of these backroom deals, they're always happening, and we need it all on the forefront. Whenever something gets discussed, people don't like to talk about it, and I like what social media is doing. It's allowing us to finally see how corruption is being played out.
Ms. Micashay?
I guess I would want to know if you have like specific finances that you're maybe referring to, but I would think that all of our finances need to be reviewed and be reviewed with the public.
Mr. Ogden?
Third-party forensic audit. That's what I want. I want to look at everything. I want to look at every dime that was spent, and I want to know, and I want it in an open meeting where all of you guys can show up and attend. And I want it streamed on Zoom where you can make comments about it and actually get responded to. So, yes, full transparency.
Mr. Laughlin?
I would start off by first reviewing it myself, double checking my numbers because sometimes my math is off. Then if I'm pretty sure that I'm right, then I would speak to the city manager and then get his opinion and then have him check on the people that work below him and then get his response and then bring it, if it's a major concern or it's a minor concern for that matter, bring it to the full commission. And if there's still issues with that, we make sure we bring it out to the entire public. And hopefully at the commission meeting, everybody there gets to see it. But I know that not everybody watches the commission meetings. So if we have to do a white paper on a potential major issue, we could do that to make the people of Stuart aware. So kind of following the chain of command on that.
Thank you. Mr. Oldenburg? Oh, you already went on that? I thought Ms. Micashay started with that. Sorry about that. All right, so I am going to start with Ms. Micashay, and then Samantha Smith, if you can come up for the next question. And then, she's what? Online. Oh, she's online. Thank you. I didn't realize that. So Samantha Smith, I'm going to ask your question right now. We're going to start, Ms. Micashay, do you support backyard chickens in the city?
So I think this is a community decision because it's going to affect, I think, everybody. I did a poll to get the community's decision and what they would like to see done, and they do want to have backyard chickens. The majority, of course, was for that. I have tried to reach out to a few professionals and veterinarians to see if there's a professional opinion on this, as this is, we're Stewart's not a rural area. It's just not. It's a very city area. So I would like a professional's opinion on this. I think we also need to keep in mind that the city of Stuart does not have any kind of animal control. So we need to make sure that Martin County can actually handle this, because unfortunately chickens get loose. They fly, they get out. So Martin County needs to be able to handle all of the animals that end up getting out. So I would like to see how they can handle it, and again, get some professional opinions on it. But overall, I support what the community supports, and that is backyard chickens.
Mr. Ogden.
Y'all ever had fresh eggs? They're really good. I have been knocking on doors, and people bring up the backyard chickens. And up until last Thursday, I'd never met anybody who was against backyard chickens. But I knocked on the door, introduced myself. He says, "How do you feel about backyard chickens?" I don't have a problem with it. He slammed the door. So I knocked on the door again, and he came back. I said, "Would you mind talking to me for a minute and educating me about this?" He says, "My neighbors have chickens." He goes, "And now I got rats." He said, "They're throwing the food on the floor, on the ground outside, and then the rats get to it." And he said, "Then they put out rat poison. Now I got dead rats." So we need to make sure that this is something that's managed, and that we're keeping the property rights in mind of the people on the surrounding properties, and that we don't have chickens just running around. And I don't think that would be the case with most chicken owners. But this is a code enforcement thing, and our code enforcement department already needs expansion. They're already overworked and overloaded, and we're not getting to everything in the city already. So we need to make sure that we have good rules and good rule enforcement around backyard chickens. I love saying backyard chickens.
Mr. Laughlin.
Chickens, yes. I've been an advocate for chickens. I like the idea of freedom. What I see chickens is, I can't have chickens where I'm at. I live in a condo association. But that doesn't matter. I like the idea of personal freedoms. I don't like the idea of them infringing on somebody else, though. So I've heard from some, parents of former students who brought up some serious concerns. I have a lot of respect for these people. They don't want the chicken coop or chicken run right on their fence line. So I think we can come up with a solution that everybody can get along with. And the concerns about pollution that they might bring, I think that's been overstated. It's funny, my opponent, Campbell Rich, voted against backyard chickens, but he doesn't have a problem with putting a couple of dumpsters at a 4-story hotel literally 40 feet from Fraser Creek. So, where are you at? That's my answer.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. And Mr. Oldenburg.
My whole thing about the chickens is industrial farming is the downfall of America. If Publix closes down and the grocery stores close down, we're all out of here. We're done. The big argument that people make is, Rich Campbell makes, is he talks about our waterways and pollution. But I've never seen Rich Campbell try to limit the fertilizer that's allowed on all these people's backyards. It's very... And then Eula Clark says we're being rushed, but it's kind of interesting because we paid $200,000 to an environmental attorney. She's had 2 months to review this. And if the rats are the problem, just limit the size of the fence. I think that we all deserve fresh food instead of eggs that are stuffed with soy and glyphosate that come in on a semi that are ending up in our landfill from a carton. It doesn't make any sense to me. So make the regulations right and bring the chickens to our town.
Thank you, Mr. Oldenburg. The next question is going to be for Mr. Derek Ogden only, and then Jackie Thurlipish, if you can come up with your question. Mr. Ogden, the Stuart Chamber endorsed your opponent before qualifying and before you entered the race. As a small business owner, were you surprised by that, and what does it say about the Chamber's endorsement process?
I think all of the chambers of commerce, I don't know if there's any members in the room tonight, but all the chambers of commerce have lost their way over the last few decades. For 13 years, I was deeply involved with the Hobe Sound Chamber of Commerce. I was a board member. They would call me onto the board to take care of issues with conflict and stuff from time to time. The chambers of commerce exist to support the local small businesses, and they don't. That's just the honest truth. They'll take a Costco over a local grocery store or a local tire shop any day. So we need to have some kind of association that helps small businesses. As far as them endorsing my opponent before the qualification even happened, because that's their guy. He went through their training program at the Stuart Martin Chamber. He's been groomed to go out into government and do the chamber's bidding. Unfortunately, that means he's not there for us, he's there for the chamber.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden, and Ms. Jackie Thurlipish. This will be for Mr. Laughlin. There we go. There we go. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jackie Thurlow-Lippish, and just so you know, in case you're saying, what's she doing here? She doesn't live here. My grandparents moved here in 1952. My father went to Stuart High School. I grew up in Stuart until I was 10, and then my parents moved to Souls Point when, believe it or not, that was like the Outlands, and we had like well water, and it was great actually. But I just want to thank all of you all for putting your hat in the ring. Man, it is hard. I know it's hard, and I must be totally out of the loop because I don't understand why everybody's not at this table tonight. Because I just appreciate that you're here. I served on the Souls Point Commission for 8 years. I ran for District 1 and lost after that, but it was a good run. And then after a few other things, by the grace of God and chance, I was put on the South Florida Water Management District. And I was not reconfirmed by the Senate, would not let me back in because of the woman who wrote, Kathleen Pasadomo, that she was president of the Senate, and it was her bill that was the Live Local bill. So anyway, there are powers that would freak all of us out if we really knew them face to face. I've only seen them a couple of times. But I wanted to ask you honestly and openly, if you win this position, and I wish you all luck, I do. I wish everybody luck. How will you deal with the incredible powers of the South Florida Water Management District and the Army Corps of Engineers in reference to the horrific history of our St. Lucie River, which has been raped and pillaged since really 1916. And we've got 100 years of history that we can't change in a day. But I'd like to know how you feel. Do you feel like you have a role, or do you have no power? How do you see it, please?
Thank you, Jackie. Mr. Laughlin?
Okay, good question. And I worked with another fellow that once served on the South Florida Water Management District. But how would I deal with it? I think our previous mayor, Mayor Collins, who happens to be in attendance, he did a good job of establishing a relationship with the Army Corps of Engineers. And they seem to be more willing to curtail the flows. Now, they have major issues. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just a person with a stick in the loincloth fighting against the big army, all right? The Army Corps of Engineers, they think this is a much bigger issue, all right? So that's the first step. When you're dealing with that, you have to at least act like you're willing to work with them. If you go headlong and attack them, I think they're just going to say, you know what, forget you all. We're going to go right back, and here you go. You fight the man, here you go. So I think try to work as diplomatically as possible. That's my best answer.
Mr. Oldenburg?
I think we need to apply pressure. I think that we need to let the people know who these people are. If we were to ask that question to a lot of people, they would say, who's the Army Corps of what? The South Water what? So I think that the first thing is educating people and applying pressure as much as we possibly can, which is hard. They are very powerful. They are very big. But I feel like until 2022, when we started getting stronger candidates in the seats, they went with whatever those people said. They did not care. Everybody campaigns on clean water, but what have they done? They don't apply pressure, and like I said, the more we educate the public on who these people are, the further that we could fight. We could do a lot more if we knew more.
Thank you. Ms. Ricochet?
I think I would really agree with Will on that statement. These are not people that you can just go head on, go attacking. You don't get to deal with them like that. When you deal with them like that, you deal with consequences very quickly as well. The Water Management Board is full of nothing but developers. I've gone through all of them. It's pretty hard. It's the same thing with FWC. But the issue is, of course, when you're dealing with people like this, you kind of have to throw out the idea to them and let them kind of make it seem like it's their idea. And that's how you have to deal with these kind of people. You give them the idea and you kind of let them run with it and let them come up with their own plan for it. That's the only way to really deal with these people, unfortunately. When you're dealing with that level and that power, your voice is so small in their ears.
Mr. Ogden.
So as always, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, so building good relationships with those agencies, but keeping in mind, just like Kylie said, the FWC, the South Florida Water Management District, they're all full of developers. It's wild. But working with other governmental powers, we have a congressman here that we should be talking to about this and going around wherever we can go around. But isn't it nice that we have an environmental attorney at City Hall in Ruth Holmes? This is our fighter. This is our person who's out there watching all this and paying attention to it for us. So that, and one thing that we can control is not replacing grass and wetlands and actual natural ground with impervious materials like asphalt, where it runs directly off into the river. So we've been our own undoing in a lot of ways here for the last decade or so. So the clean water doesn't just come from reducing Lake O discharges.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. And I just want to mention real quick with Jackie Thurlippish, I appreciate you coming up here. I don't know where you went, Jackie, but okay. Hats off to her. She has faced retaliation like you can't believe. She mentioned it, but she truly did that Live Local Act. She lost her position on the South Florida Water Management District Board because of it. When we lost our voice here locally because of that. And as she said, she ran for commissioner. But one thing, if you don't know, folks, all those aerial photos of the nasty discharges in the river, you can thank Jackie Thurlippish and her wonderful husband. We have a voice at a federal level because of her and her efforts. So I really wanted to call that out. Thank you, Jackie Thurlippish. The next one is for all candidates. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Oldenburg. This is questions that have come in before. For those who are building their platform by barraging others, why is this, and why do you not have your own platform to stand on?
I think that when it comes to talking about attacks on social media?
Yes.
I think when it comes to attacks on social media, people don't stick with the facts. They stick with what they think they know or what they hear. So when it comes to me, I'm very combative when somebody comes to me and decides to lie on my name. Because like I said, people take things off of face value, and I don't take that lightly. I should probably calm down on a couple people, but it's hard for me. I don't like frauds, I don't like liars, and I don't like corruption. So I take it very seriously on the internet.
Ms. Bicochet.
I think that's kind of laughable. As somebody that's been attacked and called all kind of horrible names, I'm a Satanist, I'm doing occults, I'm doing blood worship. So I think that's very ironic coming from the person that was just behaving like that on the internet. But I don't believe in that. I think people that choose negativity and choose to behave with negativity don't have any positivity to add to the world. And that's their true character at heart. That's not them hiding, that's them being bold and being that way in front of your face, and that's how they're going to behave with everything that they do in office. It's very childish, it's very disgusting, and it's not how you behave. I don't attack people. If you go to my social medias, you can see I talk about my plans, I talk about my ideas, and I talk about the developer ties, and that's it.
You can, you just have to ask. 30 seconds.
So the thing about Kylie is she's a fraud, and I'll tell you why. When Kylie goes and lies on my name, I'm the king of transparency. I say, Kylie, meet me at City Hall, and if you could prove to me you're not a fraud, I'll drop out of the race. Kylie doesn't show up. She goes on the internet, she lies and lies and lies. She goes to churches and acts like she loves the church, but she worships the devil. She has pictures of it. You could go on the internet and see it. I'm not lying about anything. You can meet me at City Hall. I will bet my candidacy on everything I say.
Thank you, Mr. Oldenburg. And Ms. Ricochet, one last rebuttal.
So, first of all, no, that's not. The pictures that were put on the internet were by girls that bullied me in middle school, and he is using the same behavior that the bullies in middle school treated me with. It's genuinely disgusting. Second of all, I'm not a fraud. There's nothing fraudulent about what I said. You were arrested for selling heroin and robbing a student or a Stuart resident. That's not a fraud. That's not a lie. You can go view that newspaper that's on the internet. There's no picture of me on the internet. It was actually removed by my attorney today. So I would love for you to stop saying nasty things about me.
Thank you, Ms. Ricochet. Mr. Ogden.
Can I rebuttal that?
No, we got to stop the rebuttals.
Meet me at City Hall. We can still bet. It's an open invitation.
All right, Mr. Ogden. Mr. Ogden, everybody.
All right, so I've been accused of personal attacks, but really all I've been focused on is my opponent's record. For him, it is personal because he personally did make those decisions and votes as a commissioner. He takes it personally. The reason he's not here is because he can't defend his record. There have been a lot of back and forth things on social media as far as him faking a page of my website and claiming that I said no zoning changes, which is bananas. Nobody ever said that. So as far as the platform goes, I just told you my platform is protection, leadership, ownership, transparency. We have our whole first 100 days plan on our campaign page, SaveStuart.com. You can see what our platform is. It's out in the open. The problem is my platform looks a lot like my opponent's platform, but his platform lines up with his voting record, not at all. So that's what doesn't match out of those three things.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin.
Yeah, they say politics is a bit of a blood sport. I think if we hang around long enough, we might see some of that tonight. I'm just saying. But
I don't know if they're handing out the popcorn right now on purpose or not, but.
So, no, I don't. You know, there are some old actors, Jimmy Stewart and Henry Fonda. If you're my age, you probably don't know who those folks are, but they were friends, but they were polar opposites, and they would have these great debates and arguments over topics. I'm not necessarily friends with Campbell Ridge, but if he invited me over to his house to help him paint, I'd probably do that, or help him fix up something. I don't see him as an adversary. If anything, I'm probably too soft, okay? But I do attack the voting record, if you will. And I have to a certain extent. I'm not attacking the person. I think he is on one side of the coin, progressive side, if you will. I'm on the other side. His vision of Stuart and objective is totally different than where mine's sitting. So I'm not attacking the person, I'm attacking the objective.
Okay, Ms. Ricochet, what have you learned about the city of Stuart that you haven't known during this campaign?
I think something that I've learned about the city of Stuart that I didn't actually know before, and don't know if she's still here, but Olga Hamilton is who actually taught me. There she is. I didn't know that Stuart was actually Stuart because of a train station. I think that's so funny in today's age, is that because we argue about a train station nowadays, but Stuart is only Stuart because of a train station. We are named that because of that.
Mr. Ogden?
Well, I've met a lot of people, and it's been really awesome going out knocking on doors and just hearing about, listening to people that have been here since the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, talking about the way things used to be. Of course, like I said, my daughter's mother, my daughter's grandfather has told lots of stories because he's been here his whole life. But, I think the biggest thing with the city of Stuart is right now, it seems to be pretty divided, but Stuart historically has had a spirit of unity. And this is an unconfirmed thing, but somebody told me, and I haven't been able to find it. If somebody can help me find this, apparently Jackie Robinson played on Sailfish at Sailfish Park, and that may just be a rumor or a myth. But if somebody could find an old newspaper article or something with that, that would be great.
I've seen that, Derek. I have something on that. I'll have to dig it up.
There we go.
Mr. Laughlin.
Can you repeat the question again, please?
Yes. What have you learned about the city of Stuart that you haven't known during this campaign?
Well, yeah. I found that some neighborhoods are very warm and fuzzy, very friendly, okay? And some neighborhoods aren't. It's not that they're bad people, it's just very cold, and they don't like to answer the doors. Other people, they'll answer the doors in that whole neighborhood. Everybody will answer the door with a smile and greet you. Others, everybody in that neighborhood will not answer a door. And I don't know if it's just, maybe I got too many bees or bugs flying around me. I look like Pigpen when it's hot out there. I'm sweating when I'm knocking on doors. I don't know. But that's one thing I've learned. But it's all, at the end of the day, though, everybody seems to be such a great community, and I'm so happy to be here. And it's a pleasure to go knocking on doors. And I probably won't get to everybody's doors because I usually end up talking to somebody too long. So, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin and Mr. Oldenburg.
I learned that a lot more people care about this community than I thought as I go door to door. But the one thing that stood out to me the most is a lot of people are tricked by propaganda from the past commissioners. And I always go door to door and I say, hey, I see that you have this guy's sign in your yard. What do you like most about him? And they'll be like, oh, well, he's against development. And it just blows my mind at how convincing some of these people can be to get these votes. And that's probably how they've stayed in power this long. So I think just hearing the people's perspective on our town, and a lot of people want the same things. A lot of people want to keep this place beautiful, but it's hard when you have opponents that are supported by a $250,000 PAC pushing propaganda.
All right, Mr. Joe Giglio, right? Giglio, there we go. You have your question, and we're going to start with Mr. Laughlin.
My name is Joe Giglio. I'm an environmental professional. I did some work for the city on Poppleton Creek Lake, finished that, and I've been working with Ruth Holmes, volunteering my expertise to the point where some of the questions that were already brought up, because this is my question, and then I'll basically answer it for you because you already had it already. What two environmental issues are those that you as city commissioner can solve? So I'm not talking about development, I'm talking about environmental issues.
What two environmental issues that as a city commissioner I could solve? Well, if I had a magic wand, I'm not sure we can solve a whole lot. We can set policy where we have environmental attorneys to help fight against the government, if you will. And the government's big, and Jackie was not being exaggerating when she talked about the monsters that are up there. But specifically, on the local level, we can help protect parks and recs. I mean, we can help make sure that's funded. That's one little thing. And then also help protect against the overgrowth, kind of what Mr. Ogden was pointing to earlier. We did ourselves a disservice by allowing all this growth and all the asphalt to be built in, or the impervious surfaces. So those little things we could help. I don't know if you have a specific thing in mind, but there's little details that we can do, and all these little details add up as time goes by.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. Mr. Oldenburg?
To protect our environment, we need to look at who we think is protecting it. A lot of you guys don't know his name, and I won't say it, but our environmental consultant is a fraud. He goes to these projects, he says everything's all good, and then they bulldoze over endangered plants, endangered animals, and he does it time after time. He gets paid 6 figures to do this. So I would say banning that guy from the city of Stuart would be the first thing that would set us forward. And then, let's set the fertilizer line back even further. If you live on the water, let's put it back further. Our river is everything, and fake fertilizer is not helping our river whatsoever.
Thank you. Ms. McAshea?
To kind of answer the question and not focus more on development, I think our water, of course, is one of my biggest concerns. I'm already working with conservation agencies to actually do oyster and seagrass projects because that'll actually filter and clean our water. The next biggest thing is our native plants. Our native plants are an easy way to help filter a lot of stormwater, filter a lot of issues that are going through the soil and everything like that. They're very pretty as well, and they require far less maintenance than any other landscape that you're going to put in your property. So that's the two things that I would really like to focus on. The fertilizer is a very good point. We already have really good policy in place. The next biggest issue is enforcement with the fertilizer. It's very hard to actually enforce that issue, and I would like to work with code enforcement to see what we can do to actually enforce those issues.
Mr. Ogden.
It's actually interesting because what Kylie just said was what I was going to say, but the about the native plants and a lot less maintenance, a lot less irrigation, and I actually had a meeting yesterday with a natural plant guy. I forget what his actual degree is in, but University of Florida, and he knows what plants need to go in what places. We were talking specifically about the Costco. You know, just throwing cocoa plums down doesn't really do anything to filter the water like they could have done. And along those lines, again, the impervious surfaces replacing grass, replacing the natural plant life and the wetlands, that doesn't help us at all. And just out of curiosity, are you the bubble guy?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I knew him from somewhere. So this gentleman has some real solutions for our river. I saw him at the city commission meeting, and as soon as I left, I had to play the Don Ho song, "Tiny Bubbles." But yeah, I like that talk.
Real quick. Thank you, Mr. Ogden.
The tiny bubbles that are referred to is something that Ruth Holmes put in as a grant to the EPA, got shot down, and I know she's going to be working, and I'll be helping her trying to do it again, because these tiny bubbles do not come out of the water. They're so tiny, they stay in. The bacteria that are already there and living there will now eat up the muck, and you'll end up with a nice, clean bottom. It may take 3 or 4 years, but that's what is possible. Rather than to try to fight South Florida Water Management and the Corps of Engineers, you do it yourself.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, so Will needs a marker. If everybody has a piece of paper and a marker, we're going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to see who really knows Stuart. So I'm going to ask you a question. You need to write it down on your cards, your little 3x5 cards. You'll hold it up at the same time, no conversing. All right, here we go. The first question. What is the original name of Stuart? Hey. I know this is audience participation, but all right, so we all got that one. We'll hold it up. Everybody ready? Nothing? Hold them up. I can't read yours. Potsdam? It's Potsdam. All right. When was Stuart officially incorporated? Everybody ready? Hold them up. All right. I don't see any right answers, but I can't see yours, Dane. It was 1914. That's right. 1914. What is the nickname of Stuart's most infamous intersection? Got a writer yet? Okay, hold them up. Confusion corner. Yep, you guys got it. Woo! True or false? Stuart is the county seat of Martin County. All right, hold them up. True. It's true. All right. So Stuart is famously known as the what of the world? Our audience is getting this 100%. All right, hold them up. That's right, sailfish capital. This one's going to be tougher. Before Martin County was created in 1925, Stuart was what part of what county? Everybody ready? Hold them up. Palm Beach. What is it? Palm Beach, Palm Beach. It is Palm Beach. All right. Before Martin County was created.
One moment. Until 1909, when Palm Beach County was formed, Stuart belonged to Dade County.
All right.
From 1909 and until 1925, that was Palm Beach County. So you have choice right now. Do you want to belong again to Dade County?
I'm so glad we had our historian here. Thank you so much. Olga Hamilton, you got to visit their church down here. All right, thank you. So you're all right. What is another name the locals call the Evans Prairie Bridge? All right, hold them up. Are you ready, Kylie? Nope, no one. What did you say? Derek's got it. Tencent. Bonus. All right, bonus question, last one, and we'll get back to real questions. Which bridge was the 25-cent bridge? All right, everybody ready? Hold them up. Nope, Evans Lyons. There was one. Or Ernest Lyons, I'm sorry, Ernest Lyons Bridge. It's the next one over on Hutchinson Island. Yes. So just the background on that, when the Bridges to the Sea was opened in 1958, the 10-cent crossed from downtown Stuart to 25-cent to Hutchinson Island. That's the Ernest Lyons Bridge. The tolls ended in 1961, and the bridges were officially named in 1965. So that was the tolls to cross those bridges. Thank you, Jackie. Her and her mom are amazing historians. All right, so back to some serious questions here, folks. We're going to be starting with Mr. Oldenborg. What have you learned? Never mind, we already did that. We already did that one. Robin Cartwright, you can come up next. All candidates, yes or no? Do you condone unverified online negative posts against any candidate? Kind of a piggyback on the earlier one, so to speak.
Yeah, if we can't see
Just
it,
yes or no?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Oh, they need to, I'm not taking it on, so.
No.
I know something. Okay, it's not like we're in okay, somebody else watching. Okay. Up to you if you ask. Okay.
All right, so.
Sorry.
Robin, yes.
Hi again.
This is going to be for Kylie or Miss Mikashay first.
So last night we had a very interesting city meeting for those who were in attendance. And Mr. Ogden referenced this as part of his comments earlier, but I'd like to ask the whole panel, and Mr. Ogden included, what is your opinion on residents addressing commissioners, obviously in a respectful manner, by name during city commission meetings?
I think it's a very weird power move if you're wanting somebody to address you as Madam Chairman or Commissioner first. I think that's very weird. I would never treat somebody like that. So I think even if you're being disrespectful, if you're up on that podium, they've got their 2 minutes, they get to say whatever they want. I'm not somebody to kick anybody out because they're saying anything nasty like that at public comment. But I think it's a very weird power move if somebody's making you address them in a specific way. We're not in the military.
Mr. Ogden?
Can I have just a moment before my time starts to clarify what she means?
What?
No, what
Robin?
what
Yes,
Rob,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
the actual context of it. Okay.
So at last night's meeting, you were making public comment, and it was discussed for those who were not in attendance, that you were not allowed to address any commissioner by name, and we all know from the actual charter that you are, as long as you're not saying anything derogatory. So if you're addressing somebody's vote and you say you voted for this and then you made this comment, that is applicable according to the charter. However, last night the discussion got derailed by the statement that was, you may not address anybody singularly, you have to address the commission as a whole. So my question to the candidates who are here tonight is, what is your opinion about that? Do you think that it's okay to be addressed for something that is on public record for either a vote that you made or something that you stated while you were sitting on the dais?
So I'm a proponent for doing what you can when you can, and this is a battle that I can fight as a citizen, which is why I went in to kind of make that point at the city meeting last night. Right now, the impression, or up until last night, the impression was that you cannot name a commissioner and say that Commissioner Rich voted this way, which is exactly what I was saying. So I kept getting shut down. The ordinance says that you must address the body, but it doesn't say that you can't name, while you're addressing the body, specific commissioners. But it was being, used that way and kind of twisted, and it was for one reason: to avoid accountability and transparency. This is when I am commissioner. If I do something good or bad, and you want to come in and say, Commissioner Ogden did this, I've got it coming. I mean, as long as it's true and you're not being, crazy or weird or like using vulgar language, that is the kind of accountability that I expect as a commissioner. I demand it. Tell me what I'm doing wrong.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. Mr. Laughlin?
Now, if you're calling me out for my voting record or saying, like Mr. Ogden did last night, he's just pointing out who voted for what. He wasn't necessarily addressing the individual commissioners at the time. So there's no confrontational actions on his part in that regards. Yeah, if I'm on the commission, if and when elected, I have no problem with somebody calling me out for my vote. If I voted one way or the other and you didn't like it, all right, you're free to voice your opinion. So let's hear it. And not a problem. I think accountability was part of the issue last night. So I think all our commissioners in general are try to be as accountable as possible. I would as well. And I would like to hear your people or your voice and your comments and your opinion on one of my decisions. So thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Oldenburg.
Rich Campbell isn't my opponent, but I will say this about Rich. Rich picks and chooses. I don't know if you guys go to city hall meetings, but if you say something nice about Rich, he's all ears. But the moment you call this man out for what he's done or what he said, it's an objection, and that's just how they like to run. I think that anything that you've done in life, anything that you've said in life, you should stand on that and you should be proud. But Rich doesn't feel that way, so God bless him.
Okay. So now, we've had some questions that have come in beforehand, and they are for some of you, some of the candidates that are not here. I am going to ask the questions, even if the candidate's not here, and if any of you, specifically if you're in the race, would like to answer it, feel free. The first question was for Merritt. You publicly stated that you regret your yes vote on Costco, but on your website you defend your decision and justify the development. Which is it? Do you regret your decision, or do you stand behind it fully? Anybody have anything to say? Mr. Ogden.
I don't hate Costco. Let me just start with that. I share the same exact opinion that Merritt Matheson had about Costco in 2018 on Casey Ingram's interview. And his statement was, as long as they follow the rules and we don't have to do any land use changes, then I'm totally fine with Costco and I'll support it. But unfortunately, and I don't think that Merritt's a bad person, I just think that he didn't have the will or the fortitude to stand up to the developers. And we ended up making land use changes, plenty of them. And we ended up with 375 apartments approved next to it. And under the Live Local Act, that could easily turn into 1,500. This is not something we need in this town. And, what do you expect from from Merritt Matheson and having another 4 years of that? All you need to do is look at his voting record from 2018 to 2022, and that is what you can expect more of.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden. And the next question is actually for you. Do you follow your opponent's philosophy that the city revert to the old ways of doing things?
My opponent's philosophy that the city revert to the old way of doing what?
That's the question. I don't know who sent it.
I don't really understand the question.
Okay. All right.
Like typewriters and pens and pencils?
Horse and buggy? No, all right, Mr. Laughlin, your opponent publicly states the city needs civility. What do you plan to do to restore civility?
Well, yeah, you have to go to accountability, exactly. If you want civility, then you might want to pick a different profession, especially when you have enemy at the gate. You have to be prepared to dig in, dig a little foxhole or a little bunny hole, whatever it takes to hold the line. And I think our commission, I'm looking at Chris Collins here, he came in and he wasn't very civil, according to some, but he did what it needed to be done. You have to take a stand sometimes, and sometimes that stand might seem offensive. Now, I'm going to go out of my way to be diplomatic, but if you're going to start a line, like I was talking about earlier, and trying to be deceptive, then you've just said, oh, let's throw civility out the window. So, yeah, and accountability matters, and taking a stand for what's right matters, and sometimes you got to dig your heels in, and it may not seem civil, but that's what war is. It's not always civil.
So the next question was for Campbell Rich, but I think it might be a good one for all of you to answer. I think it's a pretty quick question. I don't even remember who I'm on right now, so I'm going to go back and start with Mr. Oldenburg. If reelected, and this is actually for Campbell Rich, if reelected, will you attempt to rehire former manager Mike Martell?
Rich Campbell would definitely do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely not. That guy is where he deserves to be, and that is out of our city. And that's how I feel about that. I know the rumor is if Eula wins and Merritt wins and Campbell wins, they're bringing him back, and I don't think that's right.
Ms. Mikashay?
I've spoken with quite a few residents that were wronged by that city manager, so I would not ever support him coming back.
Mr. Ogden?
I think you're asking for trouble if you have somebody who was in for so long, they were removed. He was removed for good reasons, and without cause doesn't mean that it's without a reason. It's one of my biggest fears is ending up losing the slow growth majority on this commission and Mike Martell coming back. That would be a terror for the new staff at the city, for all of us, really. But yeah, that will be a major step backwards for our city, and we've made so much progress in the last 4 years and slowed the development from 2,608 units approved from 2018 to 2022 down to 60 in the last 4 years. That's a big deal, and it took a lot of work. Thank you, Chris Collins.
Mr. Laughlin?
It doesn't sound like we have too many Mike Martell supporters here, but we have to admit the guy did a lot of service for us in our community, and he was a genius. But as Mr. Ogden pointed out, although he was fired or terminated without cause, there were reasons why. He's gone on, and he's now in a different position. I would not support bringing him back. I'm not sure how my opponent would go. There's rumors. I want to address those rumors. I'll let my opponent speak for himself. Maybe not. But no, I would not.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. So the next question is for Ms. Mikashay. I've heard that this is your stepping stone into politics. Is that true? What's your ultimate goal since moving from Fort Pierce?
I have no problem saying that if I am elected and I can show you all what I can do in this city, I will absolutely further my career in politics, and I would love to take this to a federal level at one day. The issues and concerns that I have, like I've said many times, the issues that we're dealing with are on a state level at this point. And I would love to be at a state and a federal level fighting for you all. So I think that benefits me quite well. Everything that I do today and everything that I do up on that dais will affect the rest of my career, and I mean that.
And then we have a question for Eula Clark. Do you agree with the narrative that the city is burning? Does anybody want to address that?
Yes, I'll speak for Eula. So, the city is burning because of Eula. I don't know if you guys have seen the town hall meetings. The residents in Eula's own community come and they say, Eula, please don't do this. Eula, please don't do this. Tens of 20s of people, and she always votes against it. So I think that she's contributing to a lot of bad in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I completely agree. I wouldn't necessarily say it's burning, but we have nothing left. When you look at the land that's left, there's nothing, and I mean that to you all. There's nothing left for them to really develop. We've got a little bit for multifamily, and the most of our land is one in the conservation or it's commercial land. They've taken it all, and Eula, Merritt Matheson, and Campbell Rich are all to blame for that.
Mr. Ogden, looks like you want to weigh in.
So there's two parties at odds in the city of Stuart. The establishment, you can call them the good old boys, the developers, the chambers, and the residents. So what you saw in the last 4 years is referred to as chaos by the good old boys club. And like I mentioned before, chaos is the chaos on their balance sheets, the chaos in their money train just coming to a screeching halt. Chris Collins at the county forum last week, I think it was Susan O'Rourke that brought up the chaos, and he just stopped and said, what chaos? What was the actual chaos? Slowing down development, was that chaos? So I don't feel like the city is burning. I feel like we are in a good spot, and that's because we've had a slow growth majority for the last 4 years, and we need to keep it. And that's going to relieve a lot of issues in the city overall.
Thank you. And Mr. Laughlin.
I think a lot of unknowns create fear, and fear creates anxiety, and then that creates the impression of hostilities and maybe some of the burning. I'm not sure. I don't really see the city's burning. I do agree that there is kind of a two-camp group now. You have the group of developers, and some of those, they're being pressured. Let's admit it, these developers are being pressured from outside developers. Their livelihoods are at risk, and there's some really good people that I know that are developers. But then you also have those who saw all those apartments that got built, and they're like, well, geez, what's going on here? They're terrified. I hear literally the fear and anger in their voice, and they don't want to see any more of that. I get it. And yeah, the city's about 96% built out, but what happens when you build out a city? Build up. And that's what those state laws that Ms. Lippisch knows about and I know about, that's what they attack, and we got to stop that.
Ms. McAshea, this is for you. There's some Facebook posts that are questionable. The question is, do you have any regrets about what you have shared online?
I think it's really stupid for anybody in this room to sit there and live with any kind of regret. I don't regret anything I've said. I think maybe I would have, at today's age, would have worded things a little bit differently, but I still stand on a lot of the things that I've said. But other than that, I don't regret anything. It's a horrible way to live my life, but I definitely would word things a little bit differently. Just growing up, I never planned on running for politics back then, so it wasn't a concern of mine. But we live and we learn. I was a teenager then.
Okay. Mr. Ogden, there's a couple questions here. I'm just going to read the one. They're both about the property tax amendment. If the tax amendment is passed and the city needs to raise revenue, the city has some very valuable property it could sell, such as a city hall. Would you vote for or against putting a multi-use zone change on the property? We could end up with apartments on top of, it looks like businesses on the bottom.
No.
Easy enough.
The nice thing about this is that if they were going to sell City Hall, we all get to vote on it. And this is my exact point with Sailfish Park. We need to protect that park with a referendum the same way that our waterfront property in downtown Stuart is protected. And Merritt Matheson himself said it was a good thing, but they're fighting to keep that referendum from happening. So no, I don't want to see City Hall turn into gee-dang apartments. I want to keep downtown Stuart the way it is, and I want to keep our baseball fields there. And when you watch the conversations happen about the baseball fields, pay attention to the way they word things. Campbell Rich put in his mailer that the baseball fields are not for sale or lease for development. Merritt Matheson said the baseball fields are not for sale. We don't have any unsolicited bids. Well, we don't have any unsolicited bids, and they're not for sale. But the reason we don't have any unsolicited bids is because there's no unsolicited bidder who's willing to walk in there when the commission's split the way it is. We have a slow growth majority, and as long as we have that, they're not going to show up with their unsolicited bids.
Mr. Laughlin.
No. I like that City Hall, where it's at. I spoke to a lot of different people who don't live near the water. I mean, my little community is a bunch of, 75% of them are retirees, fixed income types, mostly middle to lower middle class people, hardworking class people, former teachers or whatever. That's how I got there years ago. And we appreciate the fact that we could come to at least one little section or a couple of little sections of Stuart. We have that nice park there. So no, I don't want to see that taken away and converted. Now, it may need to be remodeled a little bit. Okay, that's fine. But let's not turn it into a hotel at that location, especially a four-story hotel or apartments. No, I would not be for that.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. Mr. Oldenburg?
Absolutely not. There's nothing I hate more than apartments ending up and blocking our view from the river. That's the worst thing ever. I would never want to sell any valuable property like that won't even benefit our community. It'll benefit the people that can afford $4,000 a month for that apartment.
Ms. McAshea.
I wouldn't necessarily sell it or anything like that. I would say I wouldn't be opposed to it turning into green space or an actual park for the people. I wouldn't at all be opposed to that. There has been rumors, I'm not sure how true it is, of us, the city hall is supposed to be moving to a different building. So if that were to ever actually happen and that building was just sitting there, I wouldn't want to sell it. I would maybe want to destroy the building itself and create a park for everybody.
Thank you for that. All right, so next question, Mr. Laughlin. What's your plan to make cuts if the property tax bill is passed?
Target the CRA. Simple. That's probably that's the $10 million elephant in the room that's eating everybody's lunch. California had 400 CRAs. They all failed, every single one of them. Why? Because eventually the numbers went exponential. And by the way, our numbers are going exponential. And when that happens, then the overburden of the areas outside the CRA, they cannot keep up with their taxes to keep up with the overall operating expenses of the general budget. So there's my first target. And I get it, there's a lot of good things the CRA did, but that really needs to be restructured, especially if they decide to, if this bill passes. So.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin. Mr. Oldenburg?
It's hard to think about who we want to cut out of our community. I find it very interesting that there's so much fraud going on around the United States. The Missouri thing with $20 million to these random daycare centers, but we have to worry about bills like that. It just blows my mind how much money is being wasted and how we're still in a deficit. And so when it comes to cutting people, I'd have to really look at the budget because we never want to see anything get cut out of our community. So it just really depends on what they contribute and how beneficial it would be to maybe put them back a little bit.
Ms. McAshea.
I think I've spoken on this. I very much so believe in a zero-based budget. Let's go line for line. Let's prove it. I think we, of course, need to go through our contracts, like our leases. We've got a lot of contracts with a lot of different companies that I think we can go through and we could probably cut or at least negotiate better deals with them. We got programs like the repaving of the roads. Stuart's roads are beautiful. You go anywhere else, you're going to notice that you've got potholes. There's bumps everywhere. Stuart's roads are beautiful, but a lot of times we're repaving roads that do not need to be repaved. I would like to see that funding reallocated to somewhere else.
Mr. Ogden?
Yes, we've already covered this a little bit, so I did want to mention that I do not want Stuart to turn into a fee-based city where we're generating revenue off of, beaches and boat ramps and parking and all that kind of stuff. So that's something that I would want to protect us from. But circling back, Will and I were on the phone earlier for an hour or two talking about the budget. What is it that we can do? And he's educated me a ton. Will's a wealth of knowledge. He won't admit it, but he's a wealth of knowledge on the CRA and how the money flows through the city. So looking at the budget, working together, working with the staff and figuring out where we can cut with as little pain as possible.
Thank you. We're winding down. If anybody has a question, ask it now. Ms. McMillan, if you can come up. And while you're coming up, this is for Mr. Oldenburg. If you had $1 million in unexpected revenue, where would you spend it?
Just personally, me?
Yes.
I'd probably start off with a Lamborghini boat car. That's just me. I don't know, man. I'd build a beautiful, giant garden. That's a
How about for
question.
the city? It came in $1 million for the city. Where would you spend it?
I would give a lot back to the youth. There's a lot of kids in the poorer parts of our town I talk to, and I feel like they don't experience a lot of stuff that most of us grew up experiencing. So I would love to help out those kids as much as I can. I feel like they're not really involved a lot in our water community. And I would give a lot back to the youth.
Ms. McAshea.
God, $1 million sounds like a lot, but in reality, it's not. It doesn't do anything. I guess I would probably use that money to start off my projects with the oyster and seagrass. We can allocate that for that, or maybe doing some more native plants. I've spoken with a few traffic engineers, people that actually build and design roads. I would like to see maybe some of our roads with more shade trees and things like that. I ride a motorcycle, so it's very obvious when the temperature changes. When you go from one space that has a ton of asphalt and a ton of buildings, it's hot, and when you have a ton of shade and everything and trees and nature, it's a lot cooler. So I would like to maybe spend money on that.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden.
All right, that big, good-looking guy in the back there in the black shirt with the fire rescue logo on it. When I met with him, we were talking about what the issues were with the fire department, and they were telling me things, and I just kept saying, you know what? Show me. So I went and did a ride-along with the fire department. I slept in the bunks, ate with those guys and gals, and stayed there for a whole 24 hours so they could show me what the issue is with having 2 people on a rescue instead of 3. So if somebody you care about is having a heart attack and they come out and do their response, just to put it simply, one person's running the ventilator, another person's doing compressions, who's driving the truck? We have 3 people, we have 3-person trucks that most counties run with 3 people all over the state. And it's very rare that anybody runs 2. We're running 2 in the city of Stuart on how many rescues? 4? 4 rescues and 2 engines, right? 3 engines. So that's probably where I would look at. Our fire department does an amazing job. Trust me, I've seen them do it. But they need more hands and feet.
Mr. Laughlin.
And that's a good one that Mr. Ogden brings up. I also like the idea of if I had the $1 million that fell out of a tree and hit me in the head for the city, I would like to use that as a matching grant for folks that would get behind developing the ball fields at Selfish Park and developing. I was there actually filming a little video about a comment that was made in a previous forum, and I got a chance to chat with one of the City of Stuart employees. And he says, well, look, look at this here, look at this there. I'm like, yeah, they got rusty chain link fence, you have cracked and potentially dangerous cement there in that area. This particular area of Florida, especially in springtime, becomes a hotbed of baseball. We could really develop those fields and make them into some kind of a tourist attraction, where you get some of your return, all these people renting hotel rooms or whatever, eating at Flanagan's and other nice places, Dune Dog. They could get some return on that $1 million investment. So, thanks.
Thank you. Is Ms. McMillan here? And while she's coming up, the beaches are owned by the county, just for whoever had submitted that question. And here you are. Do you need a microphone? There you go. Let's grab her. You're welcome. Whoops.
Yes, hello. And again, thank you all for throwing your hat in the ring. It's tough to do that. And most of us in this room appreciate you. What you see downtown is because of Stuart Main Street program. Many of us in this room were a major part of that in the 1980s. Candace Callahan is our Main Street manager now. She has applied and sent to National an application for our Main Street to become a Greater Main Street, for a Greater Main Street Award, which would make Stuart Main Street the best Main Street in the nation. And that has just happened. So my question to you four, do you support our Stuart Main Street program still? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with Ms. Mikashay.
I definitely, of course, support them. They do amazing work down there. Every Sunday, if you go down there, there's the market, there's the live music. That's not the City of Stuart, that's them. They do an amazing job with a lot of the events that they put on for the city. They do an amazing job with a lot of the workshops. I think I've spoken with somebody that used to run the Stuart Main Street downtown, and I think the biggest concern is the amount of money that they spend. I would like to go through kind of their budget and make sure that they're actually sticking to budget.
Mr. Ogden?
I think our downtown area is one of the most important areas in Stuart, especially for the small businesses. Even the businesses that are not in the downtown area are positively affected by the businesses in downtown that draw people in. I know people from Pompano who come up here for the farmers market on Sundays. I love the farmers market. I can walk here. But the need for, like I was talking about the chambers earlier, the need for good, solid business development agencies or associations in this city and in our surrounding area, it's there. We need organizations like Main Street to continue driving traffic and helping with the marketing and doing all these great events that they do down in downtown Stuart. We love it.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin.
I have a friend who says, I never go down to downtown Stuart anymore. Why is that? Because it's too busy. Okay. It's the old Yogi Berra quote. Nobody goes there, eats there anymore because it's always busy. And I think it's because of work of people like you, yourself, and your friends. There are some issues always. You always want to be keeping an eye on things, making sure they're spending the money appropriately, and we're getting some decent return on investment out of it, because at the end of the day, it's your money, and I hate the idea of the government sticking the gun up your nose and saying, give us your money, or else we'll foreclose in your house. So we want to be good stewards. This particular program has been good, seems to be a good steward to this point. I would like to see it continue. However, if they veer too political one way or the other, then maybe we ought to question what they're doing. So.
Mr. Oldenburg?
I support it. I love what you guys are doing. It's the one sad, not about you, but what's sad is we've had no mainstream anything in downtown Stuart, and it really sucks that they just put a 4-story Hilton, the first non-mom and pop shop in 30, 40 years, and now it's coming. So That's the one thing I don't like about it. But I love everything you guys are doing, and I always brag about our downtown. I think it's the coolest place ever. I've been to every state in the United States, and downtown Stuart is one of the best. I'll tell you that.
All right, Ms. Shriver, if you could come up next, and then let's do a quick question here. Just fill in the blank. We're going to start with Mr. Ogden. The City Commission needs more.
Accountability.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Laughlin.
People coming to the meetings, you know. Generally speaking, how many people know who the commissioners are? We have a couple of former mayors here. I bet 9 people out of 10 have no idea who they are. So.
Excellent. Mr. Oldenburg.
3 more solid commissioners.
Ms. Mikashay.
Chris said it best. Backbone.
Okay. Do you need the mic or?
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm surprised the conversation hasn't come up yet. So first of all, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. How do each of you as candidates feel about the Bright Line station in Stuart? And then my second question on top of that would be, can you tell us how you feel about the taxpayers having to be on the hook for it?
Okay, we are up to Mr. Laughlin.
Bright Line is, they're a bunch of weasels. Fortress Capital Management is let's be honest. Okay? If you research who Fortress Capital is, they have a track record of backing out of deals. They did a really bad disservice to the city of Vancouver. So when they backed out of our deal, I was very happy to see that at the time Commissioner Collins called them out on that. And what they love to do is put the public on the hook, and then they like to walk away with the asset. Really? No. I'm not necessarily against a station, but I also know that they're doubling, tripling, and quadrupling down on that location because of those laws that we were talking about, which are going to enable them to have the ability to put affordable housing there. And that, I think, would be a travesty, and that would end Stuart as we know it.
Thank you. Mr. Oldenburg.
I say it all the time. I think the Bright Line deal is a joke. The fact that $60 million, $30 million from us, like, what would that possibly build? And it's a private business. We won't get any return off of this besides, maybe the few travelers that come, but every time it's nighttime and the Bright Line passes by, it's empty. The Bright Line's going bankrupt. I see a lot of people, previous commissioners that were fighting for this, but they're going bankrupt and it would be on our dollar. A respectable deal, from what they've said, I can't even see it happening, because how do you go from $30 million to a respectable deal for our city? It just doesn't even make sense.
Ms. Mikashay?
I absolutely have to agree. I'm a business. I would never expect any of you to pay for my business. If I want to invest in something, that's up to me to pay for. I don't support us paying for anything for them. If they want to invest in our community, sure, invest in our community, but this isn't an investment. I have been told by many that Bright Line was a scam to get the train tracks actually upgraded. So that's what I've been told about it. It's, like he said, it's a failing business. I even tried to give Bright Line a chance and try to go and take Bright Line down to Miami, and it's expensive. It was cheaper for me to just drive and deal with the traffic.
Mr. Ogden.
Carpet bagging swindlers is the best thing I can think of for Bright Line. They haven't said a true word since this whole thing started when I first got involved, and it was all aboard Florida, and just nothing they ever said was actually came to fruition. Our current commission has been criticized for rescinding that contract, and they lost credibility, and this was a bad thing that we backed out of a contract. We can't be doing that kind of stuff. We can't be rushing into BS agreements with private corporations and leaving the next commission in a bad position where we have to back out of that kind of stuff. So fools rush in. Elvis said it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mikeshay, we'll start with you. I've got 2 questions, and we're going to go to closing statements, and then Ms. Gail Goldie is going to come up with some closing remarks. So, Ms. Mikeshay, what one word best describes Stuart today, and why?
Absolutely beautiful. Stuart, for my business, I travel all across the state of Florida, and I can tell you there is not a city that is remotely close to Stuart. I moved here for a reason. I've been all over. I could have moved anywhere, and I chose here for a reason. It is beautiful. The people are amazing. This is the only community where I've ever been maybe broken down on the side of the road or anything like that, and the community actually stopped to help me. Everybody here is just amazing. Even the ones that are kind of mean and grouchy and maybe don't want to help you, they're still willing to help, and it's crazy. I love this community so much. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden.
Home. My neighbor across the street just moved in. He's got a Merritt Matheson sign in his front yard. And we're good buddies. And I love that. And I love that it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother him that I'm running. We have different views on things, and he's got a different friend group than I do, obviously. But
what is it?
We're neighbors. This is our home. This is where we live. And sometimes it gets uncivil when we're fighting to protect our home. But that's, if it's not home, it's not worth protecting. But that's why this place is so valuable, is because it's home to so many good people.
Okay. Mr. Laughlin.
This is a beautiful place. It's unique. And one of the beauties is identified as the people here. And so many people come here because it's such a beautiful place. Why would we want to destroy it? I don't know. I can't figure that mindset out. If it's some people buying into the greater good and the ideology of building more, I don't know. But I do appreciate the fact that I've traveled around quite a bit. I've been to cities, and there's certain neighborhoods you just don't go into. And I feel like you can go to pretty much any neighborhood. I've been walking those neighborhoods. I'm knocking on doors. People come out and they'll talk to me, and they're friendly. And wow, what a unique place. I mean, you just can't find this anywhere. Do we really want to destroy it? I don't get it. There seems to be people who want to do that. I don't know why.
Mr. Oldenburg.
Stuart is paradise. I don't think we know how good we really got it. You got to go to a place like Wichita, Kansas to really know what we got going on over here. Every time I leave, I gain a new perspective on how beautiful our town actually is. It's one of a kind. You can't find anything like this almost anywhere. All these towns, all these other places, they all sold out, and we stayed strong to some degree. We got a Hilton coming, but I love this place, and it'll forever be home.
Thank you. And Ms. Hamilton, you came up and had one quick question. I told you there would only be 2 more, but she has a really quick question for Mr. Oldenburg and Ms. Mikeshay.
So I will start with Will Laughlin, who said, civility starts with accountability. You will be and you are accountable for every word, whether it's written or spoken. Anywhere, on social media, in this room, we had a good laugh here, we had a kerfuffle here. And right now, I ask you both to stand up and shake each other's hands. Wait, stand up, shake each other's hands. And forward, we are looking for more ideas than all other things. Ideas, proposals, how to make our city better, how to make our people's lives better, how to continue attract our tourists from all over countries and even the world. And that's what is better, ideas.
Thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Okay, our last question. Boy, with all that, I kind of forgot where we are. Again, I think we're down. Not yet. I think we're starting with Mr. Ogden. There was one question, and then we're going to do closing. If voters remember only one thing you said tonight, what do you hope it is?
Remember, savestuart.com. Click on For the Record. You can see the entire voting record from 2018 to 2022 from my opponent. It's the exact opposite of what I plan to do with my 4 years. And that's pretty much it. My platform is on our website, so savestuart.com. And we need all the support we can get.
Thank you, Mr. Laughlin.
Remember what the objective is here. What are we trying to accomplish? Are we trying to keep Stuart, or are we trying to turn it into Delray or something worse? So my one thing would be, what's our objective? My objective is to keep Stuart. And I'm not afraid to get nasty and ugly if I have to, but you don't want to see me mad. And I typically avoid that. I avoid that at all costs. So.
Mr. Oldenburg.
I hope the one thing you guys all remember from me, and I'll speak for everybody at this table, I want you guys to all take a good look at who is sitting at this table and who is not backed by special interest that's running our town. This is it. None of us at this table are getting any funds from any type of special interest, and I hope you guys can remember that at the very bare minimum.
Ms. Nickishay.
I think my campaign slogan says it all. Protect our paradise. I really look forward to have your vote in August.
Thank you. And for closing statements, we're going to start on this end and work our way back down. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Laughlin. You have 2 minutes.
Well, you're getting basically a guy who was way back in the day, terrified of public speaking. And then I became a teacher, or got into teaching. And I kind of learned that, you know what? Shyness will kill you, keep you from all those things that you want to do in life. And my job was to try to bring out the best in these students. And I thought I did. And I'm proud of what I did, and many of those former students are still my friends to this day, even though they're now in their 40s and some getting close to 50. But it's crazy how time flies. But what you're getting here out of me is just a little modest person. I'm not some millionaire dude. I don't have deep pockets, kind of reflecting what Mr. Oldenburg said. And I'm willing to step in and fill the breach, right? An old Tennyson poem, once more into the breach, or whatever. And I'm hoping that the people get behind me and help support me in my foxhole. I know a couple of folks have, and I really appreciate the financing, the backing. I started basically on Matthew chapter 10, where it says, don't put any of your own funds or anything out of your own purse. If you are worthy, then you will be taken care of. And by gosh, it's been happening. And I, it is quite impressive. So I guess that would be my closing statements. If you want to seek the truth, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm going after the truth, and we know that the truth will set you free, and we also know that sometimes those who don't follow the truth, you will be at odds, whether it be your own family, which I had this big blowout with my brother about a week ago, or some of your best friends, your neighbors. But we have to make a stand and decide what we want to try to protect here. So thank you for your time.
Well, you guys are all here, so it's kind of preaching to the choir, but we need to encourage our neighbors, our friends, people in the city and outside the city. Pay attention to what's going on with your local government, because this stuff can sneak up on us, and it has to a large extent. There's a lot of different issues in the city. I have all these things written down. I have pages of notes up here, and 80% of it didn't even come up. But East Stuart needs to be protected. We need to make sure that we're keeping an eye on them and that they don't get bulldozed and turned into Abacoa and priced out of their homes. So I wanted to mention that because that's something that's really important to me. I live east of East Stuart. I've told people in East Stuart, I'm more East Stuart than you are. I'm East Stuart. But I live in Dr. Hewson's house. He built it in 1973, and he delivered a lot of babies. So if anybody is in here that probably knew Dr. Hewson, that's whose house I live in. So third owner. 2 doors down from me was Charlie White. His widow just passed away a couple years ago, Paula, sweet lady. And Charlie was a commissioner. He was the police chief, and then he was a commissioner after that. And one of the things that I know that Charlie was really good at was talking to the community. It's a little tough with sunshine laws and stuff now with committees, but one thing that I look forward to as a commissioner is kind of forming little unofficial committees around the city, because there are channels for that kind of communication to come up to the commission. But you know, when we're arguing about backyard chickens and people are divided, I think a lot of us can work together as neighbors to come up with good solutions for that and come to the commission with a proposal. You know, she's on one side of the fence, I'm on the other side of the fence, but here's what we've both come up with that'll keep us both happy. So I think that unity in our city and encouraging us to all work together, and let's pack the city hall for those Monday night meetings. It's the second and fourth Monday. I want everybody there.
Thank you, Mr. Ogden.
It's so hard because I have so many things that I want to say, but I'd say the most important thing is these next 4 years, and even the 4 years after that, aren't going to be about the past or anybody's past mistakes or anything like that. It's going to be about the future, and I would really pay attention to the people that have been focused on plans and solutions for you all and not talking about others. Really, really, really pay attention to that, because we can talk about voting records and all of that, but what is your plan for the city of Stuart? What is your plan for the future? How are you actually going to address the concerns of the residents? Because we all know the problems. Every single person in this room knows the problem. I guarantee you not even half of the people in this room know the solution to the problems. So that's what I would really want everybody to focus on, is focus on the people that are talking about solutions and ideas and plans for you all. Those are the ones that are actually going to make a difference and actually can have campaign promises that you can hold them accountable to. My name is Kylie Mitchkay. I'm running for Stuart City Commissioner. Vote to protect our paradise.
Thank you.
Thank you all for coming again. Like I said, this is the most beautiful town in the United States, I think. And I want you guys to all know again that you guys have the power to make this commission right. I don't. Nobody at this table does. It's all up to you guys. There's nothing we could do without the right votes. And I'll speak for everybody at the table. Everybody at this table has a completely different vision than the people that aren't here. That's probably why they didn't come. The questions that would have been asked would have tore these people apart. So when you're out in the public and you hear people talking about these people, educate them and let them know the funds that are behind these people. Because a lot of people don't know they've raised $250,000 for our small hometown election. It doesn't make sense. It's not what we're about. And as long as we keep these people in power, special interest will run our town. My name is Dane Oldenborg, and thank you guys again for coming.
All right, so all my trivia hounds in the audience, when is election day for the city of Stuart? All right, you guys got it, August 18th. Thank you to Impactful Media. They are streaming this forum live. There's been some buffering issues because this old building is really tough to get good Wi-Fi. It'll be up on We Care Martin tomorrow. It'll also be on my Facebook page again, and I'll put it on my YouTube channel, and it'll look beautiful. So please make sure you share this forum with all of your friends and neighbors. And real quick, before Gail comes up with closing comments, please give a round of applause for these folks showing up. Not easy sitting up there not knowing what question's coming, so hats off to you.
I want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey, for having an honest forum that isn't biased, where they take out questions that are going to benefit the bad guys. So thank you again. You're the best.
My pleasure.
I just want to say on on behalf of WeCareMartin.org, I want to thank everyone who has participated. Each audience member here is a participant, and that means a lot. Not only are the candidates but participants, and those that didn't show up, all I can say is shame on them. Because people who are here are the heart of this community. And I'd like each of you to remember that this forum was put on by WeCareMartin.org. This is our third forum. We had one 2 years ago, and then we've had two this year. And each of you, I hope, will go onto our website at WeCareMartin.org and sign up and subscribe. We do not hassle you. We send out information and have a beautiful, beautiful blog part on there. So thank you again for coming, and I hope that this is the best candidate forum that you have been to, because we certainly enjoyed it.
Real quick, we have Miss Crystal Lee Roberts.
Is there somewhere that the contributions are posted online? I know that for the other candidates, they are, but I don't know if the city candidates are posted.
They are at the city.
It might help to get that information out there so people can see.
I'll put a link out on my Facebook page tomorrow, all the candidates, and you all are very familiar with it, but thank you, very good question. There is a link.
If anybody is curious about the contributions, you can look up 2026 qualified candidates for City of Stuart and find any of your contributions from all of us.
Thank you all. Thank you again. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
I wish they would have shown up. It would have been a really good debate forum. It would have been a good discussion.
Well, the residents lose, right?
They
Because
do.
we
That's
didn't
who
get to hear
loses.
this.
Exactly. That is who loses. It's so frustrating to me.